I'm sat on the Heremite stone, and that translates as the Hermit stone, and it's located at the bottom of Hippescombe. I'm here to defend the honour of a wobbly Roman road. Seconds out, round one, ding ding. So which Roman road are we talking about? Well, I'm talking about the Roman road of Chute Causeway, which is part of the the Roman road that goes up through Savernake. I've forgotten where it comes from, Andover. Incidentally, Savernake and Andover are both Romano-British names, that is early Welsh names. So is Chute, which is one of the earliest spellings is Chet, which means wood. What else? There are Bedouin parish joins up in a minute with me. The old Bedouin parish from 150 years ago. That's also Welsh. So what that tells us is that the ancestors of the Welsh weren't sufficiently beaten up, enslaved, destroyed, wiped out, or pushed out in sufficiently to prevent the transmission of their names to the landscape of places where people live, which I like to point out, Berkshire, there's absolutely nothing apart from Speen, West Berkshire that is. So there's large parts of the landscape, England today, where British names for places were suppressed. Here it doesn't seem to have happened. Whether or not that's related to linear earthworks and Roman roads and so on, somebody else has got to work that out, but I'm happy to point out the facts. You might say to me, Roman roads are straight. Chute Causeway is semicircular. Surely you have that wrong. So what evidence do we have that it is a Roman road?
We have 4 royal forest perambulations that go down this valley, all of which talk about the Roman road in some sense. One is Savernake Forest, and the 3 are of Chute Forest, 2 of which are very, very local.
So the forest perambulations go back to Henry II and Elizabeth I, and they are in Middle English, and they describe a place called Streta Yet, Street Gate, and various other forms of the same place. Basically a place called Street Gate, which is where I'm making my way to now. This is today's Scots Paw, and it is not on the straight part of the Roman road. If there's nothing else that you can take from my videos, it is that strata is Old English for Roman road, essentially. Nearly always, 99% of the time. So where we can find a location that has strata in it, you have a Roman road going through it. Now, Scots Paw does. Now you might say to me, well, Middle English isn't Old English, Tom, you know, get a grip. You know, you live on a street today. Yeah, that's not Roman. And you'd be absolutely right if the four forest perambulations didn't cross-reference also with an Anglo-Saxon charter, the Charter of Bedwin, which used to come here. Which has a location called Stata Iates, which unfortunately is misspelt. They've missed out the R, but it's definitely street, strata. But how all of those fit together and definitely apply to Scots Paw is the difficult task, and Hermit stone has got a lot to do with that. I'm glad I found it.
The perambulation of Savernake goes clockwise, and our boundary is to the south of the area. So that means it's going west. Now it starts, in our area, it starts in what it calls William de Bortes Croft, and then goes along Hippescombe bottom, and then goes up to Street Gate, and then along the Greenway. Now we know where the Greenway is. It's this road here to the west of Scots Paw, and this is mentioned in the Chute charters going the opposite way around, because Chute Forest, our boundary is on the north end of Chute Forest, and it's going clockwise, the perambulation, and that goes along the Greenway to Stretagate, and then along, one of them describes going to Heremites-Donna, and then after that Blerin Chules set, which is in the Collingworth charter. So this is a Saxon charter. Another one is described as Blerian Hul. Now that charter is to the west, and what we're looking at is the ridge of that hill that runs east into our area, into our boundary. This is how it's described by Grundy, GB Grundy, who's done all this, by the way. What I've done is reverse engineer what he's described to see whether or not, because I wasn't at first convinced, but after doing it myself, it's pretty convincing. He describes that ridge as being being once called Blerian Hall, which means coloured hill, and that being the same as Blerian Huleset. If you prefer your recommendations in sentient, then you might consider watching this video next.